Wanted to welcome you to our quarterly town hall. Nicole Pesky, Communications Director, and so happy to have you here. We have a lot of really great topics to cover with you today. And so we'll get going. I'm going to stop sharing here so Russ can share. So we're going to be covering during this town hall the innovation program, our sort of new relifted awards program. And then at the very end, we're going to cover the communications toolkit. We put together some great resources that will make things easier for you. So can't wait to show that off to you. As always, don't forget to put your questions in the chat and we'll cover those as we have time. Feel free to keep your mic muted. Feel free to keep your camera off if you want, but pay attention because you're going to want to see what we have planned for you here today. So first up, we have Russ to talk about the innovation program. Russ, are you there?
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah. So what I'm going to be talking about is innovations. This is very similar to those that I'll say a few years ago that we did at iJam. That was with our director, Tom Sorrell, at that time. This will be innovations in transportation, not to be confused with TRIP program, which is a transportation innovation program. So I'll give you a quick overview of what's going to be happening here shortly and kind of some features of what the new program is going to bring. All right, so what we want to do is we're going to have submit forms, and what we're looking for is the suggestions and basically your ideas, but also we're also incorporating solve the problem. And this is something, maybe something was created out, I'll say maybe in the district that was like a jig or something that's being used in one of the districts that probably is not being shared in other areas. So if we have something like that, or if you made some other suggestion, we're looking for either the idea or the problem solved. And then in the future, we'll do some surveys, brainstorming, those things. And then we plan on doing is having a review team. The review team, and I'll get later on in the slides here as far as what we're looking for, but we're looking for those people to basically take these ideas, and we plan on doing this every other month and going through this and going with these ideas, and everything that I'll say gets to the cream of the crop type of idea that we want to submit to the executive management so that they can start looking at it as far as all the benefits, and then also, how this can be incorporated within the DOT. So on your right is basically the screen that will be out there. It actually is out there right now. This link is out there on MyDOT. If you want to take a look out there, it's on the left-hand side where it says submit an idea. But this is the screen, and then on the bottom are the two icons. The bottom left is the one for submitting an idea. The bottom right is, hey, I solved the problem. Or you have a coworker that solved the problem, so you can do it for that coworker. So these are basically, I'll say, the campaigns we're looking for, the focus areas, and we're starting off with safety. So safety will be kicking off here on September 6th, and then we'll be like I said, every other month we start looking at another campaign. So that way we kind of keep things flowing, but you won't be inundated with all these emails coming out. So here's the submission forms that once you click on it, you can see the idea submission as well as solve the problem. It's very simple, few questions, put the information in there. Also, there's a spot where you can download a file and submit it. And from then on, it'll go to the review team in roughly about 2 months. So what we're looking at is just basically generating ideas, okay? We don't want to get the idea fatigue, but also we want to be able to kind of network all the ideas and spread the knowledge. Okay, and the one thing we want to do is we want to respond back to the owners of the idea. I know this was probably a downfall on iJam, so we want to be able to get back to the people as far as and provide feedback to the ideas that are submitted. And then, like I said, the review team will make recommendations to the executive management. And then here's a new thing we're looking at doing is there'll be a year-end innovation award or awards. And then also we want to do is showcase those ideas at the transportation conference coming up on March of 2023. So the review team, it's going to consist of basically all those of the deputies areas, and we'll have I'll say a variety of those personnel, so we kind of have a diverse group. And then we're also looking at central office as well as the districts. And one thing we are going to have is we are going to have a safety person on the committee, on the review team, but also we're going to have a person that'll be our change manager. And that person has already been selected and will be going through the training. That is Jesse Grounds from the motor vehicle area. So right now, currently, just so you know, that we have 15 employees that have reached out to me saying, hey, I want to be on that team. So it's going to have to be cut back a little bit. So we're looking at only 10. And that should be coming out, I'd say, within next month. So again, here's the future campaign. Safety will be first, and then we'll continue on with innovation, leadership, mobility, and assets. And you'll see an email coming out next Tuesday as far as more on the program. And that provides, I guess, kind of the slideshow that I was looking at doing for you. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I can answer them there.
Yeah, sounds good. If you have questions, make sure you put them in the chat or raise your hand too, and we can take care of them that way. I love this idea so much, Russ. I've been in the DOT for about 18 months now, and I can't even tell you the amount of innovation that I see here going on all the time. It's happening in the districts, it's happening in the divisions, and so what a great opportunity to be able to submit what you're already doing, the problems you're seeing, and you're solving them. To be able to submit that or be able to submit maybe some bigger ideas and get some recognition for that and move that along. So I think that's going to be a really, really great reintroduction. So
Okay. Thanks, Nicole.
yeah, thanks, Russ. Look at that, Russ and his grandbaby. Next up, we have Tara, who's going to talk about the Employee Awards Program. Tara.
Thanks, Nicole. I am here to talk about our new Employee Awards Program. So the executive team, communications, human resources, and the Employee Appreciation Committee from the central office have been working hard over the last several months to sort of build upon and expand our year-end employee celebrations. And I'm very excited to announce that we have added additional employee awards, the winners of which will be announced along with our current Safety and Employee of the Year awards. So the opportunity to nominate your coworkers begins today, and nominations will be accepted through September 30th. Any employee who works at any of our facilities, who is full-time, half-time, or temporary, and who has held a position in state government for at least 1 year, is eligible to be nominated. And the award winners are going to be announced at our year-end celebration, which is scheduled for Thursday, November 2nd. This half-day event, which will be both in person and virtually, will also include a motivational speaker that we're pretty excited about and just getting ready to announce shortly. Our Employee of the Year and our Safety Employee of the Year will continue to be awarded both at the central office and the individual districts. The District Safety Employee of the Year and the District Employee of the Year will be announced at additional events that each district will also be holding. So now I'd like to give everyone a sneak peek of our new award categories. So our first award category, new one, is the Pride Award. And this honors an individual who has shown professionalism, respect, integrity, dedication, and excellence in everything they do. Our next award is an Empower People Award. And this actually honors a people manager who has provided their team with the plan, the support, and the role model necessary to succeed. Our Rising Star Award will be given to a member of our leadership development journey who has actively sought out new opportunities for learning and has shared their experiences with others. Our Citizen Focus Award is going to honor an individual who provides excellent customer service to the citizens of North Dakota, day in and day out. Our Work as One award is kind of fun because it's actually a group award. So this award will be given to a project team, a work group, a division, or a district that worked together towards a goal and had an outstanding achievement. Our Hero Award will recognize team members for making a difference by going beyond their day-to-day responsibilities for the benefit of others. As Russ mentioned, we also have an Excellence in Innovation Award, which is connected to our Innovation Committee. And this award will honor an individual with a growth mindset who has put innovative ideas into practice. So I encourage each one of you to nominate at least one person in any of the award categories. I know we all know someone who deserves to be recognized for their amazing efforts here at the DOT. I think together we can make this year-end event a great success and honor our coworkers for doing so much for us. So thank you.
Thanks a bunch, Tara. And the save the dates for that November 2nd event, those will be going out really shortly here. And looking forward to celebrating more with you then. So thanks a lot. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the communications toolkit with an assist from our new graphic designer, Chris Addison. I'm going to start a little bit. Let's see here. I'm going to stop sharing. Switch screens. Screens back up. All right. Okay. Super excited to talk to you about the communications toolkit. I think that, we have a lot of tools available. Some have been shared over email over the course of several years. We sort of combined them all. We added a lot of great tools and we put them together in one spot. Before I show you where the communications toolkit is, I wanted to point out that the employee awards and the submit an idea for the innovation program, those links can be found in the left-hand navigation on MyDOT. So please go there, submit ideas, and please nominate your fellow coworkers for awards. We have so many deserving people at the DOT, and it would be just a really great problem to have so many to go through that, the groups just didn't have time. So please nominate. It doesn't have to be an extensive application or nomination. It could just be even a couple sentences. That would be great. So where you find the communications toolkit, I'll show you. It's under divisions and districts, and then not a shocker, right? It's under communications. So feel free to even create like a little shortcut for yourself to this site. So I'm going to go through a couple of the offerings, and then I think one of the most exciting kind of big pieces that we have is the PowerPoint template. I think that's going to be really helpful for people. It's going to help us sort of have a consistent look across DOT. So Chris is going to go into a little bit more depth on that template and how to use that. But I wanted to talk first a little bit just to make sure we're all sort of on the same page when it comes to this concept of branding. So I know branding can kind of be like a jargony communications term, but this is why it's important. So branding, which is it's us all using the same logos, colors, fonts. It could even be language. Everything we do sort of has a familiar feel to it. And it makes it so that when the DOT items are consistent, that people will be able to recognize us. So it's a pretty powerful tool that we use to make people be able to identify what's ours. On a bigger scale, of course, you're all familiar with 3 or 4 years ago, the state rolled out the statewide branding. And so on a bigger scale, us being able to be connected with the state branding means that we're able to sort of use that collective forward momentum. There's benefits to that people are able to recognize us as being a state entity as well, because we have the benefits that come from that, right? We have credibility, we're reliable, we serve the public. And so they start to recognize those items with those sort of attached feelings. So it's really a powerful thing. We are going to be talking about visual identity, which is the logos and the fonts and the branding colors and that kind of piece. If you are like those of us in communications and you kind of geek out on the words, like you love language, and then I really encourage you to go and read the full Legendary Branding Guide, because it has a lot of really interesting tidbits in it about the kinds of language that we use to talk about agencies and talk about North Dakota. And I know that when you look at that, you look at the branding guide and you read their descriptors of North Dakota. I actually I walk away from that even being inspired and being proud of living in North Dakota too. So it's really a great deal. So feel free to check out the Legendary Branding Guide. That will have all of the details about the branding. If you want sort of a quicker sort of lesser version of the branding guide, it's very good, it's very lengthy, then I would recommend checking out this quick guide. And the quick guide is going to go straight to the heart of what you're looking for, which is details about the logo. It's going to talk about colors. It's going to talk about fonts. And so, these are the colors that we use. The fonts that we use are Arial and Segoe. So you can pick between those. How we're going to make this easier for you, because it can be kind of a bugger to sort of add those colors in on per document. And so we made it super easy and created this document on how to add a Microsoft theme. So what this does is if you just step through this guide, it'll actually add the theme to your Microsoft products, and it translates across Microsoft products. So you just add it to your Microsoft Word, and then when you open up Outlook, or you open up an Excel document, your theme will already be there. You just have to click on your theme, and then it will automatically give you those color choices, and it'll make those fonts your default fonts. And so that might actually be the biggest thing in all of this that I recommend, the place you start, because if it's easy for you to use the branding components, you'll use them a lot more often. So take a look at that and make time to implement that. We put together this DOT writing style guide. So this has a lot of sort of DOT specific things that how do we abbreviate, how do we write out addresses or explain where things are. So check that out when you have time. This is super helpful actually for those of you that work with us to do news releases, because this whole writing style guide is all in Associated Press, which is that's the writing style we use when we're working with the media. Of course, we have the logos. So check that out. If you downloaded the logos maybe a couple years ago, I would take a look at this again because they have been updated since then. We have Teams backgrounds here for you to use, the email signature. So make sure you take a look at that. The goal is for everybody across the department to use the same email signature. So if you just click on the link, it'll download the email signature in Microsoft Word. You can just go into Word and you can update it with your own information, and then copy it and just paste it right into your email signature, and everything, all the formatting translates. So take a look at that and get that done. And then we have the media library, that's where we store all of our DOT photos, is in the library, which is also, we call it the asset bank. But there's also some gorgeous photos in there. Commerce uses that as well, and several other agencies. So there's just a lot of resources in there if you need photography for PowerPoints, for example. We have a link to our clothing store, which we launched last year, and it's been super exciting seeing all of the DOT clothing out there. And then we have this sort of e-stationery option. So we have letterhead, and this letterhead is sort of the central office main DOT letterhead, but we do have some division and some district letterhead available too, that we're going to be sending out to you. So motor vehicle, driver's license, all the districts. We have a business letter template and a memo template too, for those of you that use those. Chris is going to go over the PowerPoint template, and then we have the legislative testimony template. That is also an update, so you're going to want to take a look at that. And then for those of you that work with us on news releases, we updated this news release prep worksheet, so you can take a look at that. And then just directions on how to upload your photograph to Teams. So there's directions on that. Just a reminder that you should make sure that you're uploading a headshot. It should be, more of a professional nature. No photos of kids or animals, or we certainly love those pictures, but for a different time and place than on your teams. Um, so I would say, like, go ahead and add the Microsoft Teams. That's a great, or the theme. That's a great place to start. I think sort of the biggest thing after that will be the email signature. Take care of that. And then, as it makes sense now, starting to roll in this PowerPoint template, because our goal is to be using this template for all the PowerPoints that we do. And I know that sometimes, we use the same PowerPoints year after year after year. It's might be a good time to refresh that. You can put it in the new template, take a look at the content that you have in there. So, just one more thing, and then Chris, I can actually stop sharing and turn it over to you while I'm saying my one little last piece. But so this is sort of the last phase of us sort of moving over fully to the new brand. And so there, I'm like in the website and I'm looking at materials all the time. There's a lot of old DOT logos that are lingering on documents. And so I think, I'm sure we've probably heard for a number of years that we're moving to a new website, right? It's actually happening. I'm in a group and we're actually moving, and hopefully sometime in the next couple months here, we're going to have a timeline of when the new website will be done. We have a lot of old, outdated documents that are on the website, and we're not going to want to move documents with the old logo, with old information, things that need to be updated to the new website. And so this is I'm just making a suggestion that now, as you have time over the next year, would be a great time to go through and look at those documents, get that logo changed, make some changes to make it brand compliant, and kind of get that up to speed so that when we are ready to roll everything over to the new website, and that we're ready to run. So we really do not want to be held up by updating documents and that sort of thing. So just put it on your list to do like a little bit of a document, inventory your documents and see what you have out there that needs to be updated. And you won't regret doing that now versus later. So we should get to the point not too far down the road where the new logo should be on every single piece. So I'm super grateful in advance for the help that you're going to give to be able to make sure that those are updated. And just wanted to say that we, in communications, we are always here to answer questions, to provide guidance, to run things by. If you have, if you're playing around with a new PowerPoint template and you want us to take a quick peek at it, we can absolutely do that. But we just are really here to serve you. So we, in communications, we really believe and know that we have two audiences. We're working with our external audiences, but we also have our internal customers, and that's you. And we really take that seriously. So we just want to be, we want to be help to you with whatever you need. So.
Also, be mindful of font usage, and it's not just because of the state brand, but the fonts that are used within this presentation are very common fonts that are on any computer. So if you go through and start using a bunch of fancy fonts and then you end up giving a live presentation somewhere where you have to load your PowerPoint into someone else's computer, if they don't have that font, it will default to some other random font, and it can completely ruin how your presentation looks. So I'll get into the bullet points here a little bit. So the slides below are to provide instructions for the user. They can all be deleted when you've completed your presentation. So over here on the left, that's the messaging here is we have all of these slides provided that show some different slide examples, some slide starters, and some different ideas for you. To view slide options, click the new slide button at the top, and then there's a picture of what that looks like. That's right up here. The reason why my stuff looks different is because I'm have all my stuff set to dark mode. It's just easier on my eyes. But when you click on new slide up here, you can see that there's a bunch of pre-made options that come up. And a lot of these might fit into what you want to build, and some of them might not. Some of them might just be an inspiration for a different idea that works out closely to what you're trying to do. So, and then I think this is a great message here. Remember that PowerPoint is a visual medium like television. People will better remember images and headlines rather than text-heavy slides. So PowerPoint has this great little feature down here where you can click and you can add notes. Some of the best presentations I've ever seen at breakout sessions and stuff at some different shows that I've gone to, conventions and shows and things, haven't had a single word on the screen, honestly. It's just been some really cool pictures, and I'm going to assume that the speaker either is really great at just riffing and improvising, or they have some really good notes down here in the notes field. So I would encourage everyone to use this notes field down here and to try to, if you can, use less text on the screen. It makes for a more attractive design. And then this is don't use the design ideas button. Suggestions are not always brand compliant. And there's this button up here called design ideas. Sometimes this will populate ideas that do contain brand colors and looks. Sometimes it doesn't. But the more important spot to try to stay away from is up here in your work tabs. There's this design button, and it has all these things. And some of these look really exciting and stuff, but stay away from those, because you're going to end up having a canned design that I can guarantee that some of your audience has probably seen before. And what we want to try to do is represent the state and the Department of Transportation in the best way possible and be consistent from presentation to presentation. So we want to try to stay away from that. And then if you have any questions or would like guidance, email Nicole. You can also email me. I can throw my email in the chat, or I can just update this template too and add my email address in here. But like I said, I'm not a power user, but I can probably get you answers you're looking for. So I'll go through the slides here. So we have all the logos that we have that are available to use. And the cool thing about these slides is they're not just informational. You can actually use these to source out your tools. So if I want to build a new slide here, I'm just going to start with a blank slide. I can go in here right away and I can grab this. I Control C for copy. You can go up here. I think you can right click on it and copy probably, but I'm a shortcut guy. Yeah, there's a right click copy here. So Control C to copy, and then I can go to my new slide, and there it is. And so I have some tools on here. It's automatically populating my design ideas for some reason. So I can just automatically go on here, and then I already have a logo here that's right here for me to use. This next slide here, I'm going to move this to the top. This next slide gives some examples of colors. So these are the main colors that we want to try to use. It's always best to use white text over top of these darker colors. And so you can see all of these are selectable. And so if, say I want to make like a blue header in my slide, I can go up here, I can copy that. See if I copied it, and then paste that here. And then I can drag that right here. Use the little, these are called handles, these little dots here, and they can help you drag stuff around. And I'm going to make a header. Okay, so I have that ready to go, and then I'm also gonna paste it again, and you know what, I'm gonna put a little footer down here too. Get that out of the way. All right, so now we have a header and a footer. Here on this is really cool. One of my favorite things about PowerPoint is every single one of these graphs that Nicole put on here are editable, and they can be used however you see fit. And they also automatically change size and shape to fit the space where you want them to fit. So I can grab this bar graph, and I'm just going to copy it. and I'm going to go back up to the slide I'm building, and I'm going to paste it in here. Move it over here, and then if I change the size of it by grabbing the handle, it's automatically going to fill that space, and it's going to change the shapes of everything I need. And then if this isn't the right kind of data that I need, I can just right click on it, and I can go to edit data. And then this little window will pop up. It looks just like an Excel spreadsheet. And then you can get in here and manipulate the data to whatever kind of data that you need. And it's already in there, and it's made with brand colors. And I'm already halfway done here with a slide. So now if I want to go down here, there is a 3-column photo layout that where these are called placeholders. So these are automatically made, so I can just drag and drop a picture inside one of these, and it will use that picture inside that container. And I'm going to do that right now. So I just dragged and dropped from my desktop a picture in this, and it automatically sized it, and the proportions are perfect. So everything is good. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that into here. Okay, and here's a little tip. If you want to resize a picture, always use the corner handles. If you use the sides, this is what happens. And I see a lot on presentations, you get squishy photos and stuff. So if you want to retain the original aspect of the picture, always use the corners, because that always maintains the appropriate aspect of your original photo. So I want to fill that whole side with my picture. So what I'm going to do is right click on it and hit crop. And this is going to give me some different options here, and I'm going to drag the handles out here. I'm getting a little intense here. You don't have to remember all this. Remember, there's tutorials out there. But so now I have a whole picture here right next to my graph, and it fits real nicely. And I'm going to get rid of this logo, and I'm going to resize this, and I'm going to use this down here. Sometimes when you're sharing a screen, it gets really wonky. I'm going to delete this text, and I'm going to go back to our logo thing, and I'm going to grab the white logo, and I'm going to put it over top of that footer down there at the bottom. And there's these really cool guidelines too, where it helps you find the center of the screen. You can see that little red dotted line that shows up. So we'll do that. And then what else have we got here? So we got some more, another different style of a 3-column layout. And then we have some really cool examples of some big, beautiful pictures where you can share some of the governor's messaging for gratitude. Here's a pre-made Vision Zero slide that can be used if you want to have any kind of messaging about safety. Here's a good, just a question slide that you can use for any one of your presentations. Here's another gratitude slide. And you can always change the text in here to something else too. So if you're having a break in your session, you can put break time or something in there and have that come up on your presentation. And then this is a really good example of what I would consider like a good opening slide. So you'd have the name of your presentation and then your name and your agency. So then we'll go back up here, and I will finish this out by adding a header up here. And we're going to end this out by showing gratitude and make a header up there. So thank you guys very much for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Nicole or I, and we'll be happy to help you out. And that's it.
I love that. Yeah, it's so easy. I think those like example slides on the side, those are just to show you examples of what your slides could look like. You can swap out the pictures, you can just make it your own. And I mean, that's really what it's about. Like over the course of time, you'll totally be able to get the look and you'll get the feel of what the template is supposed to look like and do. And so just don't be afraid to dig in, give it a try, work with us, give us a peek, and we can make some suggestions. And but yeah, it's just really all of these tools are really just meant to make life easier for you. So please take advantage of them. So with that, I think we're about to wrap up here, but if you remember, you do have just a little bit of homework, and that includes you need to think about the various people that you're going to nominate for a DOT award. That awards program closes at the end of September. So make sure you do not miss that opportunity, and just put down a couple of sentences about how they help you out, and make sure that they're recognized for that. And then you're going to be thinking about innovation and what kind of ideas you're doing that you want to submit for that. You're going to download the signature template, and you're going to change your signature in your email, and you're going to play around with the PowerPoint template and install the themes. That will be super easy for you. So will the template, Jen, thanks for the question. Will this template information available externally for any consulting? That's a great question. So actually this toolkit is living on our intranet. So the external consultants don't have access to it, but the things that they would need access to, those are external links. So like that branding guide, that's quite common. We'll give consultants or third parties, we'll give them that branding guide because the colors and the logos and the fonts and everything everything they need will be in there. So, and that's a general link that anybody can use. So that's a great question. Does anybody else have any questions? I am going to put my email there in the chat. There was a question about the logo. Oh, that had to do, okay. Yeah, yes, Riley, sorry, your question about the emblem. So we have that DOT, the NDDOT emblem that's on the side of vehicles. And without getting into too much detail and geeking out too much on you, we have our logo and then we have this emblem. So we really try to reserve the emblem for very specific situations. For example, the sides of vehicles. Like you can about imagine how problematic that would be if we would put our DOT, our Be Legendary logo on the side of a vehicle. It just doesn't translate as well. And so, we're always trying to use the logo where we can. So that includes like all of your materials as well. You'll use the logo on that and not the emblem. So good questions. All right, I put my email there in the chat. Please seek me out if you have any questions, and thanks for making the time to come today. I know everybody, it's just super busy and you have a lot of places and a lot of projects you could be working on. So thanks for sharing it with us. And we'll catch you, another quarter down the road. So everybody have a great fall. Be safe, and, thanks for joining us. Have a great day.